So recently, I've been on Twitter, and just like anybody else, I've been kind of shocked and annoyed at some recent stunts that have been performed by Kanye West, American rapper Kanye West. Now, this kind of stuff is not out of the ordinary for him. I'm pretty sure people just know this guy as a nut job, and well, I guess that's just how he is, you know. Uh, But this recent thing really started to catch my attention. And in talking about somebody's mental health, but someone unlike us, right? Unlike us normal people, someone like a celebrity who's like a figure, a character, on people's phone screens and little TVs and their computers and whatnot. I mean, it's a different, when you talk about mental health regarding celebrities, it's a completely different topic. So yeah, he's been going on a little bit of a tangent, and well, we don't really know what's up. So I think to understand Kanye West is to understand that he's somebody who thrives off of attention. He's always done stunts, right? He's kind of always been this prima donna character. So, I mean, a lot of people just assume, oh, he's just like that. That's just how he is. And in some way, that is true. But I think to really understand this guy, we have to look at his antics, previous past antics. Uh, stuff like, you know, stuff like, and one of the things that you can sort of carve out from his personality is the fact that he apparently everything that is uncool in society, kind of taboo in society, once Kanye West picks up on it, it apparently automatically becomes cool, and it becomes something that I think a lot of people end up seeing this and seeing him as a visionary and a revolutionary. I think a lot of people end up seeing him as a visionary and someone who's ahead of his time, right? Especially with fashion. A lot of his fashion choices, especially within the rap community, rap sphere, hip hop sphere, it's kind of unusual. The choices that he the stuff that he wore in the 2000s and early 2010s. Now a lot of people are looking back at it and thinking, okay, yeah, he's definitely a visionary of some sort. So anything that is uncool, this guy will pick it up and he will turn it cool by bringing it into the mainstream light. And that's what he's doing right now with this alt-right kind of fascist propaganda, fascist spewing about the Jews and such, right? He thinks that he's a real visionary, is someone who's trying to expose the system by uh, exposing the Jews on Twitter and telling how nepotistic Jewish people are. It's really up to you if you want to believe that's true or not, but I think a lot of people do see this as really hateful rhetoric that's, being pushed by alt-right. And the alt-right is, well, they're kind of mainstream. If you can call Trump a fascist, in the mainstream conservatives a fascist. But, they're not really going out of the way to, call out Jews and say Hitler is good. This is kind of stuff that's reserved for a more niche community of alt-right people, a more kind of closed off community of like 4chan kind of people. So Kanye apparently is trying to bring this into the light and trying to make it seem cool and, make people think that he's some kind of genius by saying this stuff. So I'm on Twitter right now, and I just log on to Twitter, and the first thing I see by Kanye is he reposted Nick Fuentes. Now, if you don't know Nick Fuentes, he's a member of the American National Socialist Party. He's a member of the cabinet, and so he's a kind of a controversial figure himself. And Kanye reposts, and this is the type of person, and this is the kind of person, this is the type of person who would praise Kanye and say that he's some kind of martyr or some kind of heroic genius from his recent actions. So that's like at least 5% of people. The other 95% of people think that he's a lunatic and some attention whore.
Peace and blessings. I'm Erica Badu. Welcome to lunch.
So regarding Nick Fuentes, there's a kind of pipeline, an alt-right pipeline that kind of exists on the internet, and a very normal, innocent person can automatically become radicalized to this alt-right sentiment after being exposed to it for a while. And it's very easy to become exposed to the kind of alt-right sentiment because it's apparently Trump is in office and a lot of conservative kind of real hard right-wing, like kind of hateful people, they really have a very powerful voice on certain platforms like Twitter and whatnot. So I think it's kind of easy to get radicalized by this kind of rhetoric. And I think Kanye has fallen victim to this rhetoric, to this alt-right pipeline, by hanging around people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and real radicalist people that, are basically extremists. And apparently, and he's kind of gone downhill after that. And the stuff regarding the nitrous oxide addiction, that doesn't really help at all. That makes his case worse. So yeah, he's been kind of involved in this kind of alt-right kind of stuff for a while. He's been hanging out with Nick. He's been, all over the place. And you just kind of feel bad for him because I think at one point he was just a normal person. He was just a normal person who believed what was right. And I think it's a normal thing to believe that Nazis are not good people. There's a t-shirt with him saying no to Nazis when he was younger. So obviously, he's had a sort of, he's had the right mentality for a very long time. And I guess that leads to him falling in with the wrong in-group and him being subverted by the wrong people. And now he's out here, yelling, screaming, yelling at the air about the Jews and whatnot. And so in one way, I really feel bad for someone like this. Just how I can sympathize with someone like someone who commits a heinous crime. And when you look at what influenced them, it turns out they've been down a pipeline of kind of dangerous extremist pipeline of ideologies. And I feel the same thing about Kanye. I think he's gone down the wrong path. But a lot of people think he's a psycho. He's going through some kind of psychosis or he's a schizo. I've seen this interview on this page, on his Twitter page.
I was a king. I was an emperor out here.
I see you doing a lot out here. How do you prioritize your passions?
I just put my kids first, all the ideas, and then I get real selfish. Then I go to me, and then I think about the impact it's gonna have on, this lifetime.
Yeah. I've seen your recent Instagram post about how, you got North in training now.
Yeah.
Obviously people are not what they seem on camera. And I think tweeting 5 or 10 times a day about the Jews is definitely something that's reserved for people who are not really well in the head. And it doesn't help Kanye's case. So unfortunately for us who've been fans of Kanye for a very long time, I've been a Kanye fan for basically forever now. And again, I think I really started to lose my sort of respect for him as an artist. I think around last year, or I think it was a year before, when he started going on about the Jews. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. It feels really bad. I think it really hurts to see someone who you look up to, someone whose music you admire, someone who you respect, fall into this, pit of despair, pit of, just hatred and vileness. And there's really nothing you can do about it aside from just watch them, laugh at them, and mock them. Again, I think at this point, Kanye West is basically irredeemable. There's really nothing we can really do to move forward with him. I mean, he basically, it's been, he hasn't changed his ideology. You know, he hasn't come forth this year and say, you know what, I'm so sorry for all the stuff that I said 2 years ago. I was crazy that time. I've gone off the hook. But you know, he's coming back with the even stronger. So yeah, if you've been a fan of this guy, which just like me, I think a lot of people are just feeling really depressed. A lot of Kanye fans, a lot of people that see him as a kind of see him as an artist that they admired for a very long time. It's really saddening to see this, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. Unfortunately, it seems like it's just getting worse, and there's nothing we can do about it aside from, you can go ahead and say, Kanye made Graduation, Kanye made My Beautiful Angel Dust Fantasy and whatnot. And it doesn't really help. I mean, you can't use his music as a way to excuse these actions. He's gone off the hook, and really, it's a sad time for a lot of us who admire his work.